Eric Young is a mainstay in TNA. Alright. Eric Young has been probably through every rung on the TNA roster with the exception of maybe the main event. Eric Young has been jobber, the guy that opens the show, mid-card guy, dark match, you name it, he's been on practically every run. He's had possibly more gimmicks in the last 6 years than most guys hold in 15. You know, he's been the comic relief guy. He's been the, he's been the serious guy. He's been the comic relief / serious guy, But mostly he spent the better part of his career as comic relief wrestler, He's kind of like the Santino Marella of TNA, only he's a much better wrestler, than Santino. Okay, he's been with TNA for 6 years. TNA been in existence since 8 years. So basically, he's one of the guys that's been with TNA practically from the beginning, back when nobody even knew or cared what TNA was or about. Before the TV deal, before, they started touring the country week in and week out. He was one of the guys that were basically at that company in the beginning stages. And before a lot of their main event guys, signed with the company, he's been with that company. Before AJ Styles signed with the company, before Samoa Joe signed with the company, Christopher, you name it, he's been with that company for a lot longer than most of the guys we see on TV these days, But, let's get to the story. The story is his contract was supposed to come up, and, there were really no talks of negotiation or anything. And word was that he eventually left TNA, like he was eventually no longer under contract with TNA. But I just read earlier tonight that he actually re-signed with TNA. But he took a 50% pay cut as well. For TNA to offer him for TNA to come to him and present that contract with him, after all he's been through with them, after all the comic relief gimmicks, after, him being basically a jobber, you name it, for them to come there and offer him that kind of contract is damn insulting, not only to him as a wrestler, but to him as a man, in my opinion. This guy has basically stuck with you, and I'm not a huge Eric Young fan, I'm really not. But this is not about whether I'm a fan of this guy. This is about right and wrong, and I would feel the same way if that was, Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre in the WWE, or Kofi Kingston. I would feel the exact same way, Even though these guys aren't necessarily what you would like to call super big stars in the professional wrestling, they're not on a level of a popularity as a John Cena or Randy Orton or Jeff Hardy or AJ Styles as far as popularity is concerned. But these are guys that are basically company guys who will who will basically do what they're told every time and won't question authority. These are the kind of guys you want backstage or you want in your locker room if you're a promoter. So I would feel the same way. This is not a bias me being biased to TNA, But for them to do that is damn insulting to Eric Young, Jeremy Fritz as a man and as a performer, and to add insult to injury, let's just be honest. A few weeks ago, TNA hired, basically paid Jay Wow $15,000 to make an appearance, to do a little segment or whatever with the short, Robbie E and Cookie, that horrible gimmick that I'm pretty sure almost nobody likes. It's just so blatant that they're trying to, penetrate through that pop culture wall so they think they can get a better audience, and they're trying to put these Robbie E and Cookie as serious competitors, which you look at it, they're clearly not. And they pay Jay Wild $15,000 to do that. And it's insulting that they pay Jay Wild $15,000 for a one-time appearance that obviously didn't last. I don't even think lasted a good 10 minutes altogether, backstage segments included. And then they got Eric Young, a company guy, and he gets the boot. And he doesn't get the boot, but he basically gets the short end of the stick. He gets half his pay taken away from him. Now I see, it kind of makes me wonder, like, now I see why Gail Kim went back to the WWE, why Consequences Creed signed with the WWE, why, you know, Christopher Daniels and Homicide signed with Ring of Honor. I mean, even though Ring of Honor clearly can't pay what TNA or WWE pays, especially what WWE pays. But I mean, it's just insulting that TNA will offer him that. You know, they'll pay Jay White $15,000 for a one-time appearance. You know, you got Christy Hemme, who's reportedly on salary for way more money than any of the knockouts are, and she's not even a wrestler. And you give Eric Young, one of your guys who's been with the company through thick and thin for a long time, you cut his pay by 50%? Seriously? I mean, that's just bullshit to me. I'm sorry. I call bullshit on that. You know? I mean, Eric Young, obviously he's a stand-up. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's a great guy. I mean, hell, because if that was me, I would have literally choked one of those guys, the heads of the company out with a Cena shirt. Seriously. But for them to offer him that, it's insulting. It really is. And you don't do that. I mean, it's done in this business. It's done in the world. Yes, but it's not right, especially in wrestling. I'm sorry, but I mean, more power to Eric, man. I wish him the best. I hope things work out for him, but this is just wrong.